So one of the first things I want to show you when we're talking about the FA-06 and FA-08 workstation is how to create a sequence using the first studio set that comes on as the unit powers up. And that first studio set is preset 001 FA preview. So in order to create a sequence, first we have to press the sequencer button, which is just to the right of the screen, and it says sequencer. Press that button, and now we get this screen. Now if there happens to be a demo song there or another song that you don't want to work on, you want to do something else, you can either go A to the song select right here and just choose an initialized song, or you could go ahead and hold down the shift button, press song utility, song clear, select, and song clear. You can use either of the methods that I just showed you, but I prefer to use song select and then just go ahead and spin the dial wheel to an initialized song and then load. That'll probably be the easiest way for you to start creating a sequence inside the FA-06 and FA-08. Now that we've done that, let's start going through sounds and figure out what we're going to do. So first off, if I use the cursor buttons, which are right here, use those cursor buttons, I can go ahead and go up and down and go through my sounds. So there's 16 MIDI parts, so let's go through a couple of them. So I'll probably use, for instance, MIDI part number 3, which is 76 pure electric piano, and it sounds something like this. So I'll use that one probably as one of my tracks. I like to use the electric piano. Next, I might go ahead and go to the acoustic bass, which is part 5. And it sounds something like this. Now, since I'm on the 61 note, I might go ahead and drop this down 1 octave by pressing the octave button and shift it down 1 octave. And so it'll sound something like this. Just like that, and that's the acoustic bass 1, and that's on MIDI part 5. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is go down to MIDI part number 10, and here's the drums. And that's just a little preview of the Power Session kit. And there's other kits in there you can choose, but for our example, we're just using the sounds that reside in Studio Preset 001 FA Preview. Okay, now that we've gone through some of those sounds that are inside that studio set, let's go ahead and press the record button. Record button is just to the right of the screen. Press that button there. And we get, you can hear the click. Well, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the click so you can hear me speak, and I'm going to press this button click and just turn it off right now just so we can talk. Now inside the FA-06 and FA-08 music workstations, we have count-ins, and I'm going to press the enter button right here, and you'll see that we can have a count-in of no measures, 1 measure, 2 measure, or wait note. Wait note means as soon as I press the keyboard or a pedal hooked up to the keyboard, it's going to begin recording. 1 measure, of course, will give us 1 measure count in, 2 measure, 2 measure count in, and off, no measure count in as well. So I'm going to go ahead and, for our example, leave it on 1 measure count in. I'm going to press select. Now I'm going to go to the right and look at my input quantize. Input quantize. Now one thing we need to know about quantization, what quantize does, it kind of nudges us to the specific beat. Okay, so if we are a little off, or we would like to go ahead of the beat or behind the beat to give it a little more in the pocket kind of vibe, we can do that. Quantize is not going to work for you properly if you ignore the metronome. Okay, if you ignore the metronome, quantize will not work. So if you're having trouble creating a beat and you think quantize is going to fix it, you probably need to spend a little time just playing with the metronome, and that's that click. You need to practice playing with the click, and that's all musicians. So that's something that you might need to work on. It's kind of fun. You have a metronome in here. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and you see we have two types of quantization in here. One is the grid, quantize, and that's the one I'm going to use, and the next one is shuffle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the shuffle quantization real quick. I'm going to press select, and inside my shuffle quantization, I get a couple of resolutions. I can either have 16th note resolution or 8th note resolution. Okay, most common is probably 16th note, so that's fine. Now in my grid quantization, my resolution I can use is anything from a quarter note up to a 32nd note. So that way, whenever I'm playing, it'll put that note to the closest beat that I have assigned for quantization. Okay, that right in there. So I'm going to go ahead and use 16th note just to make sure I'm a little more accurate, and then I can tell it the strength, and I can do this either on grid or shuffle. Now I'm going to cursor over, and we have the loop switch. On the loop switch, we can choose to have loop on, or we can have it off. It doesn't matter. Either way you like to work, it's totally up to you. So I'm going to keep it on, because for our example, we are going to do a loop that's 2 measures. And as you can see, we can have a 1 measure loop up to whatever we want. So I'm going to use a 2 measure loop just for our example here. I'm going to select. Now, what if I don't want to use a loop? Well, then we're just doing like a linear sequence, just like a old-fashioned tape deck, and that's fine. Either way you want to record, you can do it. You have a lot of nice choices. Now in tempo record, the tempo that we just recorded the sequence is actually recorded into the sequence, and that's something nice. So when you pull it back up, it's gonna play at that tempo. Now, rhythm pattern sync start. If we turn this on, when we go ahead and start recording, one of the rhythm patterns that's available inside the FA is going to start playing, and you can go ahead and determine which rhythm pattern that is before you start sequencing. So that's something that's pretty cool if you want to use that. But for our example, we're going to keep it very basic this time. In other examples, we'll go ahead and use rhythm patterns and show you how to play with those. So let's take a look at the parameters that I have set. Count in is 1 measure count in. My quantization is at grid, and I have it to 16th note resolution. I have my loop on for 2 measures. So let me just go ahead and exit now, and I'm going to probably start with my 76 pure. So press record, and I'm going to go ahead and lower the tempo by touching the knob here and going down a little bit, maybe about 92. Okay, let's go ahead and press start and get going. Here we go. 1, 2. So as you hear, we just recorded the 2 measures. Now I'm going to show you a cool feature that we can use, and that is rehearsal. So go ahead and press this button, or we can press rehearsal by pressing the record button over here. Either way, it turns it on or off. So when the record is flashing, rehearsal is on. So now I can go ahead and close this window, and I can cursor down to maybe a drums and play whatever I want. It doesn't even matter. So we can try any idea and see if it works. When we're ready, we can either press the record button to begin recording, or press the play button to pop open the window, and when we're ready, press rehearsal off, and now it's recording. So there we go, we recorded. Now let's go ahead and continue recording up here, and let's see what happens. So obviously that's not going to work, so check this out. I'm going to go ahead and press the erase button, and I can either erase one particular note, I can erase all notes if I press this button here, or I can go ahead and press one note to another note to select a region of notes to erase. And as you can see and hear, it has just erased those notes in that region. So now when I'm ready, go ahead and close it, Put it back on rehearse. And now I can press the close button, and let's go ahead and add our bass. Let's record the bass. Once again, messed up, no problem. Erase. This time I'm going to say erase all. And that bass is gone like it never happened. Let's close, and now let's put the correct bass line. Now let's go ahead and press stop. Now as you can see, I've recorded 3 different tracks, all without stopping. This is pretty cool. And even with some mistakes in there, I was able to go inside the sequence as it's recording and erase either the particular notes, the section of notes, or the complete track, all without stopping. Also, don't forget, with the rehearsal function, I was able to try different things, and when I was ready to record, I could actually record in there. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and save this. Now, if I wanted to save this particular track, all I would have to do is go into my right button, and I could either save the studio set, or this tone, or the song. So I would press song, select. I could go ahead and name it whatever I wanted to name it. Just cursor, whatever I wanted to. Okay, and when I'm ready, go ahead and press the save button, and it would save it in there. So that's pretty cool. Very cool, easy way to go ahead and create music inside the FA-06, FA-08 music workstation. Stay tuned, we have more videos to follow.